You get that? You get it. What's up, guys? It's Shaky. We're doing another DM stories. Horror. Black smoke. Lightning. Those are the edits Kim's gonna put in here. It's gonna be epic. Guys, listen, we've scoured the internet and we've found the best DM horror stories ever. Actually, we might not, so if you have more, leave them below. Do another one. I like these. I don't even care if you guys like these because I like it so much. It's so much fun for me. I like reading. You guys got any book recommendations? Let me know below. I like fantasy. Maybe I should branch out. Okay. If you have any mysteries, I'll read those. DM horror stories. Let's go, bitch. This is the story of one of my players' first D&D experience. We'll call him L. A friend from school invited him to his table. He accepted and went to the session. Once there, he found out they didn't use any guides and most of the rules were homebrew. But as a new player, he had no clue what was waiting for him. The party rolled up their characters. L wanted to go for a female half-elf rogue, but soon as he finished preparing, his DM told him he couldn't go female because he was male, so he was forced to gender swap. That's a wild rule. There's more. But it gets worse. The other two members of the party were a female druid, female player, with an octopus familiar. And I'm sorry, I got questions about the octopus. Does it stay in a fishbowl? How does the octopus do anything? I think they can go on land, right? I got questions. I hope this gets answered. And a giant berserker that was derpy as L described. Everything went fine until they got to the sewers. Somehow, L got cursed by a golden greatsword and given some OP werewolf transformation activated by touching a mark on his arm. L used the transformation to insta-kill everything until they were met with guards who told them they were stealing from holy ground. The giant and the druid quickly put all the blame on the rogue, L, landing him into jail. And that was when the biggest BS in the world happened. That was a quote from L. First of all, bogus of your other players. Anyways, apparently the druid spent a fun night with the noble, which was described in great detail. No, if they do that, this is what you do. You say, the door closes and it fades to black. No one needs that, you weirdo. That night, the berserker had a wet dream. That night, the berserker had a wet dream, also described in great detail, and L was violated by monster girls while in jail for 2 days. Luckily, this is where he was done with the DM's garbage and left. At a later date, the same DM approached L saying he had gained more experience as DM, and L decided to give him another chance. He ended up killed and raised into undeath. L described it rather negatively. He hasn't spoken to that person ever since. What the f***? Who are these other two players that were just in on it and liked it? And were fine with that? I don't get it. Next. A DM who opened his campaign by telling the players, I hope you don't have plans on how your character is going to develop, because be warned, I will f*** you with your plans and force you to adapt to the world I give you, whether you like it or not. Too much metagame thinking on the part of the DM for my taste. Jesus Christ. Wow, I admit I'm kind of impressed he was able to hit the right frequency to pop the cork with that sentence. I was reading the comments. They were talking about champagne. It's because he spelled campaign wrong. But I literally asked one of my players the other day, I was like, how do you want them to go in the campaign? Where do you see them? And it's wild that you would do the opposite to me. It's wild that anyone would be like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this at all. Next. It says, I don't really have any horror stories, thankfully, but I do have a weird DM story. The campaign started with us waking up on a beach with no recollection of how we got there. After some character introductions, we were promptly attacked by an army of undead, led by a lich. We ran the away and hid in a cave. Turned out to be a pretty large cave, so we started exploring it. We noticed a sleeping red dragon, so we avoided that path and went down another. There, we encountered a beholder. Wow, a beholder and a red dragon in one spot, which spotted us, so we fought it. With some creative hacking of eye stalks, we managed to defeat it. That was as far as the session got. We were thoroughly confused about what the hell was going on, why there were so many super dangerous things in one place for no reason. The DM didn't show up for the next session, and we never heard from him again. Did I mention that we were level 1? Also, what happened to the DM? Also, how did this person would wait you beat a beholder at level 1? Is that even possible? No, literally, I don't think it is. That's crazy. This person said, anything is possible when you don't understand the rules. Correct. That's insane. To me, a DM not showing up to a session is so funny, though. Because it's like, you're like the one person that needs to be there. All right, next. I briefly joined a group led by a married middle-aged man. The players consisted of me and 2 college-age girls. Why was there 2 college-age girls in a game with a middle-aged man? It was uncomfortably sexual from the moment I walked through the door. Great. The 3 of them typically watched an hour or 2 of some sexualized Japanese cartoon/porn as a warm-up before I got there. Why would that be a warm-up? During play, he complained about his family regularly and somehow worked tales of his sexual exploits into every encounter. How are you doing it? He presented himself as a creepy father support figure, encouraged these 2 girls to be open about their sexuality, explore new things, and take risks. He would stand up while playing and massage their shoulders. This is so uncomfortable. I don't want to give the impression that he was sexually assaulting them. Seemed very flattered by his attention and open to his advances. Aside from him being married, I have no objection to consenting adults, legally at least, having a bit of adult fun. Just not in the middle of my game. He was also a terrible DM. 2 sessions of nonsensical storytelling without rolling a single dice. That seems like that man needed attention and didn't know any other way to do it besides through DMing, and that's creepy. And I hope those girls realized how creepy that was and got out of that situation. I hated that. That was pretty weird. I don't like that. And this one, right away, another popping out on the screen as sexual. I played under a few middling to bad GMs, but the absolute worst is the one who had an obsession with using sexual violence as both a motivator and a punishment in game. It was always weird, but often he had the sense to at least keep it off screen. One time, however, we were trying to infiltrate a cave network being held by Death Cult. Bad rolls and planning led to our party getting captured. Being the party face as a strong-willed bard, I ended up being the one they chose to interrogate first. After refusing to cooperate with the interrogators, they started threatening torture. My character, again being strong-willed, managed to not get spooked by this. Thus, the GM, in all his wisdom, narrates the following. I'm scared to read the next part. At this point, the cultists strip you down, pull out their dicks and prepare to gang rape you. But before they begin, they pull out a scroll, a polymorph, and turn you into a woman because no homo. I blame you for making me read this. I have no words. I literally, what the f***?
Wanted a horror story.
I did want a horror story, and I'm horrified. I'm genuinely horrified. I would leave. As soon as they said pull out their dicks, I'd be like, what are you doing? We all gave the GM weird looks, but he didn't get the message and continued to gleefully describe what was going on. The session just quietly ended shortly after, and I declined to play with that group anymore. Good. Some of the other players were nice and all, but it wasn't worth playing with that GM anymore. I agree. That sounds horrifying. I hope the other players got out of there. That's where the worst ones are, though. All the worst ones are sexual. My worst is a tie between the DM having us start in a prison as this strange purple fog rolled in. We all became concealed in the fog, failed a con save of 20, and we all died. First level about 10 minutes in. We never played with him again. That or when I played Shadowrun and the GM made this success for actions way too high, so we were constantly failing everything. And then his wife was playing at the table and would refuse to party up with the rest of the group and would just be a chore to play with. I'm glad that game fizzled out. That sounds horrible. Joined a random group at a DM's house. It stank like hell. Filled with neglected pets that were starving for attention. That's so sad. One dog could barely breathe and was covered with tumors. Wouldn't take it to the vet. His couch stuck to my skin. His morbidly obese wife kept coming in and interrupting to tell him about the woman at the gym she hated, and lectured us all about using gender pronouns in the game. He DM'd in his boxer briefs and was not prepared at all. Never again. Joining a random group terrifies me because of these horror stories. Also, you're telling me you're about to have random people over and you're not even going to put on a shirt or pants? What? I want to, but I don't want to know what goes through these people's brains. Because I'm just like, how? Why? No. I can't. This is awful. Well, this has been another Stories with Shaky. Follow and subscribe for more. I've been broken by these. Luckily, I can only cry out of one eye.
Because of the brain tumor.
Yeah, it's a brain tumor thing. Just brain tumor things. Rainbow. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. Please keep sending me your horror stories. I love them so much. Please. Anyways, if you guys have any suggestions on which we should read on Reddit next, let me know. Hopefully they're not all sexual, because it seems to be a common theme. And unfortunately, I know that there's a lot out there, because I've just, in my own scrolling, have seen a lot of the weird sexual ones. So that's very upsetting for me. Anyways, guys, I'm out. Peace. Shaky out. Bitches.